everybody. We are a little behind, so it's past the new year and we haven't talked about 2018 or what we're going to do in 2019. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But first, we probably need to introduce our new family member.
It's Jasper.
We adopted Jasper right before Christmas, and we're trying to transition him into being a shop dog, and it's not going so well so far because he just wants to sniff and eat everything he can get his hands on.
He wants to explore.
Yeah, so we're still in the training process. So we're kind of going to go over, actually, I guess we're going to just talk about highlights from 2018, and then we'll talk a little bit about 2019, what the plans are there. So the beginning of last year was a long time ago. Where did it start?
Well, we prepped the Indy Miata for SCCA Autocross. 2018 started off a little rocky with that, with Tara putting the car into a curb and bending the rear subframe, so we got to fix that, replace a wheel or two, and get it back going.
We replaced one wheel, thank you very much.
Well, we replaced two of them because one of them was bent and the other one was broken. So really worked on the car setup all year long. Tara did really well in the car pretty much from the get-go. I never meshed well with the car. Just struggled with it, absolutely struggled with it.
So you experienced the same thing I did with the Corvette.
Maybe. So kind of mid-year I decided to give up on it, and I was done. I decided at that point I would find something else to drive at Nationals. Tara continued to do really well in the car, and she went on to win the SCCA Solo National Championship, the Triad Award, which you have to win Magic Tour, Champ Tour, and Nationals all in the same class, which she was able to do. She was the only woman to do that, which was pretty awesome. And got a little cash and contingency money from Mazda for her efforts. And, BF Goodrich was good enough to give her some tires and so on and so forth. So really good year for her in the Miata. Again, me and the Miata didn't work out, but it ended up working out good for me. I had a lot of fun. I got the opportunity to drive a cam car, which is kind of more my style. I'm really a muscle car guy at heart, even though we've got all these imports. I love muscle cars. So I got the opportunity to drive a 64 Chevelle that our buddies at Scoons Hot Rods built for John Kraus, and it is an awesome car. Basically, they took the guts of a C5 Z06 and built a full chassis to adapt the front and rear subframes, transaxle, and the LS6 engine into a 64 Chevelle. Did I say 65 before? It's a 64.
I think you said 64, whatever.
Anyway, the car drives like a Corvette pretty much. The engine's been hopped up a little bit, so I think it's making around 475 with the tires. Drove it at Nationals in Cam T, and was able to take second place in a car that I had not a lot of seat time in. So
you had done one event.
Yeah, really happy. Even if I hadn't done that well, it was just a fun experience. It was a great class of guys. You know, co-driving with Alan Schoonmaker was super fun. So even if I'd sucked in it, I'd had a great time. But
so Nationals, it actually rained more than it ever has at any national that we've been to. Now, who knows about the history beyond 15 years, but normally it rains at Nationals, but it just rains like for part of a heat or sometimes for a whole heat, but it's not an all-day thing, and it rained all day long on, I guess it was Tuesday, all day long. So,
well, except for 6th heat, which I was in.
Well, we'll talk about that too, because that was interesting. But I guess that wasn't the first day it was the problem, it was the second day that it was the problem, right?
The daylight was the first day.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, I don't know how or why I did this, but I was lucky enough before we ever went to Nationals to actually find out, or I guess source someone who had rain tires, because we didn't have rain tires, and Brian was like, "You're not buying rain tires for that car." So I asked around, and a friend that we've known for years and years actually said, "Sure, you can borrow mine if the time comes that you need them or whatever." Well,
Okay.
it was awesome that he allowed me to do that, because I got to run on, what are they? Connie Sport?
Continental Extreme DWs.
Yeah, that's it. Extreme DWs. So they can go in standing water, like major standing water. I mean, it was crazy. And there was some major standing water.
Yeah, and Terrell probably interject a picture or two into this, but basically it looked like a log flume ride at points with the weights far exceeding the roof line of the car.
There was one section, it was a heavy braking area, and where the concrete had settled it kind of was a drop off. So you got to that area, you broke really hard, and then so much water came over the windshield, you really didn't know where you were going. You just tried to aim the car in the right direction and pray that it happened. But anyway, after the first day, or I guess my last run of the first day, I spun the very first turn of the course. And it's because I was going for it. I knew I needed to go for it. I couldn't, like,
It was
ease up or whatever.
slightly drying conditions, so the course was getting faster, and so she knew the third run was going to be the one that counted, and she just went a little too hard.
So I went into day 2 with, I think, over a 2-second deficit, basically, which, I don't know, I pretty much was like, well, that's it. I gave up the championship over something stupid, basically. And Brian was like, no, you can totally overcome that. You've done that before, whatever. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then he kept telling me that. And I was like, all right, well, maybe that's true. Maybe I can overcome it. And so I guess that's probably what pushed me, because otherwise I would have possibly just given up. But anyway, I overcame it. But it was exciting because it was down to the last runs before we knew.
Totally.
I mean, so that was super fun. Well, the downside for Brian, he talked about the exciting parts for him as far as driving, in cam and all of that. But on day 1, because so much rain had come through, it made the event really, really behind. And we were actually, the last heat, which is the heat Brian was running in, was almost in the dark. And I mean,
The good news is it pretty much completely dried out for us. It started out damp, and it was pretty much dry by the third runs, but the third runs were pretty much in the dark. And for anybody that autocrosses, you're looking far enough ahead that headlights aren't really doing you any good, because where you're looking is not where the headlights are aimed.
No.
And
I
I got lost on one part of the course, didn't see an apex, checked up, lifted. I think I maybe even hit the brakes in a spot that I totally shouldn't have, just because I lost the course. And unfortunately, that may have been what cost me getting a championship, because I did have the fastest run on day 2. I just couldn't get it done on day 1 because of the changing conditions and it getting dark, and I feel like I left a ton of time on the table out there.
And then the other highlight for me is that, I mean, this part wasn't the highlight, but Brian went on and went to LS Fest. So he drove home at the end of Nationals, like at the end of the first 2 days of Nationals, basically. He drove home and towed the car back because we were going to LS Fest. We didn't even mention LS Fest, but
Yeah.
and I stayed at Nationals and got to drive. Mazda brought out the 2019 ND2, which is what is basically obsoleting the ND1, and that's the reason why we're selling that's one of the reasons why we're selling the car. Brian's selling it because he hates it, but I'm selling it because it's not competitive anymore, in my opinion. So, but I got to drive the new one that they brought out, and that was super fun. We actually drove it in STRL, and we had a blast. Like, our times didn't count and all of that, but we would have been competitive in it.
That kind of covers our autocross for the year, I guess, for the most part.
Well, SCCA autocross.
SCCA autocross. So
Things that we did that were different this year, though, we should probably mention a couple of those things. Like, we did Cars and Cones, we did a couple legs of the Hot Rod Power Tour.
we did. Hot Rod Power Tour was actually pretty cool. I've always wanted to do it, so it was really close to us. So we did the first 2 legs of it. which was good. We didn't have to take any time off work to do those. Cars and Cones was a full week of going from city to city, autocrossing, all for a good cause, to raise money for a charity, and we had a really good time with that. We took 2 cars on that. I drove the Corvette, Tara drove the ND Miata. So
and had more bad luck in it. That's when I got the windshield a big.
yeah, the windshield got busted on the ND.
Well, not busted, but
It's got a pretty nice little starburst in it.
it's more than a starburst.
Yeah, whatever. Optima was kind of the big highlight, I guess, of my year. Only scheduled to do 2 events at the beginning of the year, NCM and Barber, which were both tracks I've got a lot of experience at. And, you know, the hope was to go and maybe try to win an invite to Vegas to OUSCI and get to have the car on display at SEMA. And was lucky enough to do really well at the first event at NCM and finish 5th overall, win my class, get the invite, get the first timer award, which got me my entry fee back, which was pretty cool. Just an overall awesome time, fun event in every aspect. A little bit of growing pains getting the car on the track, but we worked through that throughout the year and things got better. Went to Barber, won the event again, or won the class again, was I think 6th overall at Barber. So had really good points at that point with 2 events and needed a 3rd to be able to claim the class championship. So at that point we looked for a way into Road America, got into Road America, again took a class win, had another good points day, and took the GTC class championship and went on to SEMA. SEMA was awesome, once in a lifetime experience, and hopefully it'll be a twice in a lifetime experience if we do it again this year. But anyway, super cool. Jasper wants to give me kisses. He's congratulating me. So after SEMA, we competed at OUSCI, and again did really well. A track that I had no experience at. Didn't do as well on the road course as I wanted, but speed stop, autocross, both strong performances. About where I expected to be in D&E, because I mean that was the cream of the crop at that event, and won the GTC Cup. So the class win, I think I was 14th overall. Kind of had a goal of being top 10, so I missed that. So we'll try again in 2019.
We should mention that. So many events we've been to this year, rain was involved. Cars and Cones, it rained a crap ton.
Almost every day of Cars and Cones.
Which sucked. Nationals, it rained a crap ton. LS Fest, it rained a crap ton.
Yeah, it was. So we did encounter a lot of rain. The awesome thing is virtually all of the Optima events for me were dry, with the exception of Road America. Yeah. The first day was in drying conditions, so we did get some dry autocross runs at the end of the day. The second day started dry. We only got 1 track session in before the skies opened up. So the second part of day 2 was well. The other really cool thing for us in 2018 was we ended the year. We only did, me and Tara. Well, I guess technically Tara didn't do it. She crewed, but I drove the champ car race at Barber.
Yeah.
And
I normally do drive, but it rained the entire time.
A couple of our guys had run an event earlier in the year. We didn't run it because of other commitments, and so this was the first one that I got to do. Tara planned on driving, but it was...
You made this year, the first one we did this year. We've done multiple events.
Tara ended up not driving because it was, again, rain the whole freaking event.
And it was cold, too.
And it was 15 hours, basically, of rain. And luckily, me, Jeremy, and Andrew, we're all pretty comfortable in the rain. And a lower horsepower car, rain's the great equalizer. So we did take our first overall win in a champ car race, which was pretty awesome.
You've been second and third a lot.
We had what, 3rd on day 1?
Yeah, I think that's right.
And first on day 2.
Maybe it was 4th. Did we get a trophy?
We got a trophy.
Oh, so maybe it was 3rd. Okay, all right.
So pretty awesome weekend for us in champ car stuff.
All right, so I guess yesterday we sat down with our schedules and was talking about which events we each wanted to do. And I'm actually going to focus on Pro Solo some this year, which for people who don't really know what Pro Solo is, it is autocross, but it is mirror image courses, and you're taking off from a Christmas tree. So you're taking off like you're drag racing basically. And so 2 cars are on course at a time. You come back and you immediately go to the other side, and you end up getting 4 runs that way in each session basically. And then at the end, they do a challenge, and they actually do like a ladies challenge, and you are just, it's like an elimination basically until there's somebody at the end. And I love that format. Brian likes that format too. It is hard on cars though, so it's not like you're gonna, I mean, you did run the RX-7 for a while that way, but it would break stuff.
Yeah, the RX-7 took a lot of abuse when we were doing that with it.
But we ran in this car for years, and it held up pretty well.
I actually did pretty well in the Corvette at Pro Solos, but you didn't.
Yeah, no, I kind of struggled. I mean, I struggled in the Corvette totally, but I struggled at Pros with it for sure. So this year, I'm actually going to be driving another friend of ours in D2, so it's the new Miata. And I've already, well, actually it was before he traded his and got, I guess he didn't trade it, he sold it. But anyway, it was before he bought the 2019. I drove his 2017?
16.
Was it 16 or 17? Anyway, and I mesh really well with his setup, so I'm going to drive his car at Pros this year, and hopefully I will do something worthwhile, because I really miss the days when I could win a challenge or when I won Mazda money with Pros. Like, it was super fun. So that is my main focus, I mean, at this point. So, and then you're, of course.
My main focus is backing up my GTC championship and Optima. Signed up for 3 events again this year: NOLA, NCM, and Road America. So hope to be able to repeat, go back to Vegas again, and same outcome if all goes well. We do have some upgrades planned for the car. Haven't started on any of that yet, so we need to get pumping on that, because the motor's got to come out. The motor's a little bit hurt, so we ended up doing some damage, it looks like, at OUSCI. So motor will come out, get freshened up, and then some, basically performance-wise, we're not going to change much. It's going to be make the car D&E better. Some cosmetic upgrades to really make the car shine. But I'm for a couple of those events, I'm losing my crew chief because she decided I was having too much fun without her. So tell them what you're doing.
I mean, I'm just doing it for fun, honestly, because it looks like a blast and I want to do it. And we have this car sitting here. Why not go and do it? Because it's been in retirement for a while. I mean, so this is the car that Brian and I both won our first championship with in 07. So it's been a while. And it was normally aspirated then, but now it's turbocharged and it's not completely done. We actually used to have another one that, this is a 95. The other one was a 94? 90, oh. Wow, dang, it was that old? Okay. Our other one, it was kind of beat up and stuff. I mean, Brian made it was a good 50-foot car, basically. It looked really good until you got up on it. But he took all the Go Fast parts off of it, sold it, and then he's put everything on here. And so it's not complete, and it's definitely a project we've got to work on.
So that's the other project we got to work on.
And then the Camaro too.
So before the NCM Optima event, we've got to rebuild the engine in the RX-7, do some cosmetic upgrades, finish
the NA.
Building the NA, cosmetic upgrades there, get the car tuned, and yeah, that leaves the little blue Camaro behind us as kind of the, it's going to be the one that probably takes the most time, but it's going to be the one that is not going to get the attention probably most at first. But my goal is to get this car LS swapped, get the 6-speed conversion done, and get awesome suspension under it to go have fun at SCCA events in CAM. If I want to go run Good Guys events, I can do that. If I want to run Drive Auto X, basically anything, this is going to be my fun go-to car. Will it be competitive? Who knows? If it's not, I don't care. I'm going to have fun with it. I want to build the car I want to build, have fun with it, and
not worry about rules.
Not worry about it. Yeah, build the car I want to build and not worry about rules. Because that's the thing that kind of has jaded me to SCCA over the years, is you end up building a car that it's built to a class, it's built to a rule set, but it's not built the way you want it, and that kind of stinks. So I'm gonna build what I want to build, and if it's fast, it's fast, and if it's not, it's not.
That doesn't affect everybody though, because not everybody has aspirations of being competitive like we do. We're both really competitive, so
little
it's tough
bit.
because we want to set up a car. That's just like me saying we're selling the ND1 because it's not competitive. Some people are gonna be like, no way, I'm not selling that because it's like minuscule the difference.